welcome. It's Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and today we're going to do part 1 of the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. I think you're going to love it. Each part will include one step in order to finish the entire pattern, and you are going to be very surprised at the end. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so let's talk about a few logistical things first, and then we get straight into the pattern. Part 1 is super quick, so it won't take you that long. You're going to learn 2 different techniques today, and I'm going to guide you through it step by step so that you have no worries about finishing it and actually completing the entire project on time. It is quick, so you won't have to worry about it, and you're learning something at the same time. So win-win, right? But there's other things you want to think about, and the very first thing is we're going to have 12 prizes to give away. So yay that! Okay, so make sure you follow all the guidelines in order to actually have a chance to win one of those 12 prizes, okay? So we have them broken up into 4 sections, and each of them has 3 winners, okay? So the first 3 winners are coming directly from those who sign up for the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. It's free to sign up, no credit card needed or anything. All you have to do is put in your full name and email address, and then you're good to go. Where are you going to do that? There's a link down below in the description/comments, and you will tap there, and then it'll send you over to our website, and from there you're just going to sign up. Be aware that sign up is only going to be available during the mystery crochet along, so make sure that you're going to do that during the mystery crochet along, because that's also the deadline, right? The deadline is November 15th, so make sure you do all of that beforehand. All right, so the next part is going to be actually going through all 3 videos of the multi-stitch mystery crochet along. Watch all 3 of them till the end. There's not even crocheting required here, but I do recommend doing it, of course. So watch all 3 videos, part of this multi-stitch mystery crochet along, and then answer the question at the very end that I'm mentioning. So as long as you do all of that, you're good to go on that, okay? The next part is going to be to actually finish the multi-stitch mystery crochet along pattern. Now, as I said, each part is very quick, so it should be easy to finish. No worries about that. So you're going to go through and make all 3 parts. There are things that you can change up to make it work for you. I have absolutely no problem you adjusting the pattern to make it work for you, as long as you finish it. Finished is considered showing all 3 parts in some kind of way at the very end, and making sure there's no yarn hanging off, so you can say it's a completed project, if that makes any sense, okay? As long as you do that by November 15th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, you're good to go, okay? So you need to post all your pictures, especially the final one, into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki at 10 a.m. Pacific time, November 15th, with that hashtag that I mentioned at the end of every video. So that way you know exactly that I can find you, celebrate you, and you qualify for the giveaway. All right, let's go to the next part, which is the very last one, and that is the party. I always say we have these huge parties, but I got to tell you, this is going to be the biggest party yet, okay? So if you think, oh my gosh, I have missed a few parties, I promise you this is the one you do not want to miss, okay? Do not miss this one, because it's a huge party with lots and lots of crochet patterns, and of course we're going to announce all 12 winners for those 12 prizes we're going to give away. So be sure to attend that. It is November 15th, 12 p.m. Pacific time, and you already have a link available. It's in the written pattern, so that you have no worries of finding it, okay? It's also in your email. If you sign up, you will get an email with that information as well. All right, let's talk about really quickly where you can actually find the written instructions of this pattern, especially part 1 for now. You have a link down below in the description, okay? And the comment section, there's a pinned comment. There's 2 links right there. The very first link will take you over to my website, and you can see the pattern free to view. It has ads, and it is not not printable. So keep that in mind, okay? So that allows you to watch it for free or view it for free. Sometimes it refreshes. That's just how the ads work. Just ignore that part. Just go back to it wherever you need to go and then continue the pattern as you wish. If you prefer an ad-free version of this pattern, come join the Crochet Club. It has more than 600 ad-free, printer-friendly patterns, including all the previous and the current mystery crochet along, and so many more patterns, including exclusive patterns that are directly voted by the members of the Crochet Club. We meet 6 to 7 times virtually every month, and we have so many extra perks. Your crochet bestie is there waiting for you. So maybe you want to think about joining us. You can join us as a monthly, quarterly, or annual member. I would love to see you in the Crochet Club if you prefer ad-free content, extra support, and you want really a tight-knit or tight crochet community that really cares about you and supports you in any kind of way. All right, let's talk about the materials for a second about this multi-stitch mystery crochet along, specifically for part 1, so that way you know exactly what to use and to get started on part 1. So let's go. All right, so the main colors of this multi-stitch mystery crochet along is going to be white and red. I'm going to use those colors for the tutorials too. I'm going to hope that you can see everything, because red is always hard to see on camera, and white, well, white is white, right? We also going to use a little bit of beige / cream, some kind of version of that, and a tiny bit of black. You won't need those colors, those two that I just mentioned, until part 3, so you should be good to go. So you're only going to need red and white for parts 1 and 2. You're also going to use a 4mm crochet hook. You may need some extra things here and there. You're going to see one part of it today, but it has some possibilities of doing other things, so you do not have to use the exact same thing as I did. That is optional. It may even be possible not to use it at all, but I do recommend using something, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. Okay, so that's going to be part of the pattern. So there are a few extra materials you may need in order to finish the actual pattern. Okay, so in part 2, there's no extra materials for part 2. And in part 3, there are a few extra materials that you may need or may not need, depending on how you're going to finish it. All right, let's get started with part 1, where you're going to learn 2 different techniques. We're going to first start with how to make a square from the center out. So if you've never made a granny square using single crochet stitches, then this is definitely something you're going to learn here. We're also going to include a few different tips and tricks throughout the entire pattern, so make sure you watch all the videos till the end. If you skip something, you may miss a tip here or there. I usually squeeze them in between. Anyways, and once you're done with the square, we're going to add onto it, and you're going to learn how to do mosaic crochet, and then we're going to do a few more extra things that are not per se techniques, but it's just to finish up the pattern. Okay, so let's actually get started. All right, so first we're going to start with red. So the entire square is made in red, so you don't need any white yet, but we're going to need white for the mosaic crochet part of it. Okay, so let's start with a magic ring. I want to remind those who have trouble doing the magic ring that a magic ring is a loosened up slip knot. A lot of crocheters don't think about that. They always say, I can't do it, but they do know how to do a slip knot. So as long as you know how to make a slip knot, you do know how to make a magic ring. Okay, so let me show you. So this is typically how I do my magic ring, and then I pull it through, and from there I crochet. But if you look closely, and if I would be pulling it here, it is a slip knot. Do you see that? So if you just know how to make a slip knot like this, well, then you can get started right there. Okay, so this is a loosened up slip knot. Let me show you like this. And all you're doing is keeping that little, let's call the loop, right, or the ring open in order to crochet around it or into it. Okay, so that is what a magic ring is. But the most important part of a magic ring is to put your ring finger inside, okay, or some kind of finger. something needs to be in there, because if it's just like this is going to be too loose and you don't have the tension in order to crochet around it. You're going to need some tension to hold tight on the ring. So for me personally, I just put the ring finger in, you know, ring finger, you get what I'm saying, right? So, and that works for me well. I make a chain of 1 just to hold the magic ring in place. It doesn't have any other purpose. Then we're going to add 8 single crochets to the ring. So 1, 2, and 8. Then we're going to close up the ring. All you're doing is pull here your yarn end until it closes. Now we're going to do non-continuous rounds, which means we're going to do a slip stitch. Now I prefer doing slip stitches differently than the normal slip stitches. I do the invisible slip stitch. Okay, so let me show you how that looks like. So you're going to pull up your loop a little bit so it's bigger, you know, so meaning you're not going to lose it. You're going to take your hook and you're going to push it from the back to the front of your very first stitch. I know that may be hard to see, but this is my very first stitch right here, and I literally just pushed my hook through from the back to the front. Now I'm putting my loop back onto my hook and I'm going to pull it to the back. So it is technically not an actual slip stitch because it requires an extra yarn over pull through, but what I'm doing here is a kind of like a relocation of the loop, but what it does, it has the same purpose as a regular slip stitch, and it makes it look a little bit cleaner. Okay, and that's what we're going with it. We don't want to see that slip stitch, and I'm also not making a chain of 1 after I make the slip stitch because I'm trying to prevent having extra bulk. But if you prefer doing your extra chain of 1, you can. Now let's go to the next round, okay? So as I said, I'm skipping the chain of 1 and I'm going straight into the very first stitch, and I'm going to crochet a single crochet stitch. Now in the next stitch, we're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you find that that is too bulky for you or creates some kind of wave, because sometimes if your tension is a little bit different than mine, it may create a wave when you're, you know, done with it. I would replace that 1 single crochet in the center with a chain of 1. It works for me to do 3 single crochet stitches, but again, if your tension is different than mine and your project, your square is turning wavy, to replace the center single crochet stitch with a chain of 1, okay? But regardless, whatever is your center stitch, the single crochet stitch or the chain of 1, I would highly recommend adding a stitch marker to it, so that way you know where it is. Now personally, I can see where it is, but for you it's probably easier if you just add a stitch marker to it, because the pattern is written such that every time you hit the stitch marker, you're going to add an increase. Okay, so I would recommend every time you're making your 3 single crochet stitches or single chain of 1 single in the same stitch, add a stitch marker to the center one. It's either a single or the chain of 1. I'm going to skip that part because it's going to get too bulky here and it's going to be hard to see, but I personally recommend doing that for any beginners, okay? But now let's continue. The next stitch is going to be again a single crochet stitch, and then again 3 single crochet stitches in the same stitch. So pretty much you're repeating what I just did 4 times all the way around. So there's 4 repeats per round, okay? So let's repeat this again. So 1 single and then 3 single crochet stitches in the same stitch, and then we have to do this here one more time because we had 8 stitches originally. So here's 1 single, and now it is 3 singles at the very end. Okay, and then you're going to finish it again with a slip stitch. So for me, I do the invisible slip stitch. So I pull this out, I go through my very first stitch that I made. It's a single crochet stitch, so just simply push it through from the back to the front and then pull that loop to the back, and then I'm done with round 2. So you're going to start seeing the square appear. Okay, so we're now going to go into the next round. So now we're going to repeat what we just did, but you know, with extra stitches. So I'm going to say it differently to make it a little bit easier, because you're going to do this until round 5. So you're going to do 1 single crochet per stitch unless there is a stitch marker attached, or you can also say the center stitch of the 3 single crochet stitches, right? The 3 stitches in that corner. So whatever is the center one, that is where you're going to add the corner stitch, which is either 3 single crochet stitches or a single chain of 1 single. Got it? So every time you hit that stitch marker, that's what you're going to do. All the other stitches are going to be 1 single crochet stitch per stitch. So right here is a corner stitch. So I might here 2 single crochet stitches, 1 per stitch. Then here's the corner stitch. So I'm going to place 3 single crochet stitches into that. Okay. So if you don't have a stitch marker, at least make sure that you know where your corner stitch is, right? It's the center of the 3. You can also say the second stitch if you want to call it that way. Then you're going to continue on 1 single crochet per stitch all the way around until you hit the stitch marker. Whenever you hit the stitch marker or the center stitch, you're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches. You're going to continue this until round 5, okay? Don't forget your slip stitches at the end, and then we're going to go into mosaic crochet. So let me finish my square so you can see how that looks like. And when you're done, it's going to look like this. So this is going to be your square, and this is how it looks like on the back. So we're going to continue working on this now in order to transition into the mosaic crochet part of it. All right, so what you're going to do is you're now going to crochet for the next round in the back loop only. So you're going to crochet 1 single crochet per stitch until you hit those 3 single crochet stitches. Over those 3 single crochet stitches, you're going to do a decrease, because sometimes when you're not doing that, it'll create a little bit of an outward motion. We want to make it go straight up. Okay. So if you are if you feel like yours is going inward after doing that, then skip that part of it, okay? But for me, it looks better this way, so I highly recommend doing this, at least trying it out first. So let me show you what that means. So again, you're going into the back loop only, and you're going to crochet 1 single crochet per stitch until you hit those 3 single crochet stitches, or whatever 3 stitches you have in the corner. It could be also the 1 single, chain of 1, 1 single, right? You're going to make a decrease over all 3 of them, okay? So you're going to go through the back loop, and you're going to pull up a loop on each of those 3 stitches. So it's going to look like this, and then you're going to do a yarn over, pull through all. Okay, then you're going to continue on, and you're going to crochet 1 single crochet per stitch, and then again until you hit those 3 single crochet stitches in that corner. Then you're going to crochet that decrease again. I do want to point out that this part of it is going to be on the outside. So if you see something like this happening, just flip it over. Okay, like flip it over. I've seen some crocheters that continually suddenly work on the inside of your project. You should be working on the outside of your project unless I say otherwise. Okay, so you're going to do in the corner those 3 single crochet decreases, or better, it's a 3 single crochet together stitch if you want to call it that way. And then you're just going to continue on and do this all the way around, 1 single crochet per stitch, all in the back loop only, by the way, unless you have that corner stitch, and then you're going to decrease right there. Continue until the end and finish with a slip stitch. All right, when you're done, it's going to start looking like a bowl, and that's what we're kind of going with. Okay, so you're going to pull your yarn a little bit longer here, that loop, after you made your slip stitch, because we're now going to transition into white. But what we're literally just doing is we're dropping the red and picking up the white. We're going to pick up the red later again when we need it. Okay, so you're literally just dropping it and ignoring the red. So pick up your white, make a slip knot, and start crocheting. So you're going to add it to your crochet hook, and you're going to go through the back loop only in the very first stitch. And I like to kind of weave in here my yarn end at the same time. We're going to go around it, and we're going to just crochet 1 single crochet per stitch, all done in white, all done in the back loop only. So it's going to look like this. So you're literally just going all the way around. There's no decreases, no increases, nothing, just 1 single crochet per stitch all the way around until the end of the round. You're going to finish it up with a slip stitch just like before. All right, it's going to look like this. You're now going to go into the next round. You're going to drop your white, so I like to just put it into like one side, and then you pick up your red, And then you're simply ignoring the white at this point. You can make a chain of 1 if you like, if you find it easier, as long as it doesn't crunch up here, it doesn't matter. So you could make a chain of 1. It's not going to be visible in the end. As long as you don't mix up your chain of 1 with single crochet stitches, you're fine, okay? Then you're going to go into the next round and you're going to crochet 1 single crochet per stitch. Again, all single crochet stitches now for the mosaic crochet part, that's what we're starting here, are done into the back loop only. So I may not mention it the entire time, but you are going to crochet all single crochet stitches in the back loop only. So you're going to do this for the red all the way around and finish it up with a slip stitch. Then we're going to switch back to white. All right, now we're going to switch to white as I mentioned. So we are going to make a chain of 1 here though, because it's going to look a little bit better that way, because we're going to start with a mosaic double crochet stitch, which is really just a double crochet stitch into the same color. So that means 2 rows down into that leftover front loop, and that's where we're just going to crochet a double crochet stitch. So let me show you. So I made my chain of 1 just for the height of it, right? Yarn over, and I'm going to go down here to that leftover white front loop right there, and we're going to crochet a mosaic double crochet stitch, which is just a double crochet stitch in the front loop. All right, now we're going to crochet 3 single crochets in a row, so 1 per stitch, and then again a mosaic double crochet stitch. So that is a double crochet stitch into the front loop, 2 rows down to the same color. And that's it. That is a mosaic double crochet stitch. You see, mosaic crochet is actually very easy and it's really, really fun. Okay, so you're now going to repeat this. So every time you're making a double crochet stitch, make sure you're not using the single crochet stitch behind it. You're literally just skipping that part, right? Because you don't want to add stitches onto it. You just want to, replace it pretty much. As long as you have the same stitch count, you should be fine. It should be about 32 stitches all the way around. All right, so we're going to repeat this now all the way around. So it should be 1 mosaic double crochet stitch and then 3 single crochet stitches. Again, the singles are done in the back loop only, and the mosaic double crochet stitches are double crochet stitches in the front loop, 2 rows down to the same color, and you're going to continue on until the end of this round. So let's finish that. All right, so this is how it's going to look like at the end. And as I said, you always finish with a slip stitch. You drop your white and then we'll pick up your red, okay? So with the red, you're going to do 1 single crochet per stitch all the way around. So all the red rounds for mosaic crochet in this project are going to be done in the single crochet in the back loop only. So all the reds are single crochet in the back loop only. Just the white ones are changing slightly. So the next white round is going to be slightly different than the first one we just did, but then it's going to repeat by itself. So you'll see in a second how that looks like, but let's finish up the red round and then we go into the white again. All right, in this white round, you're going to start, this is going to be like a little bit of a shift, okay, than what we did before. The idea is that wherever your mosaic double crochet stitch was in the previous white section, it's now going to be 2 stitches over. So it's going to be in the center right there. So you're going to start seeing it looks like a brick. Okay, so it's a brick type of pattern. So we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches. So again, those are always in the back loop only. And then we're going to do a mosaic double crochet stitch. So a double that is 2 rows down to that leftover front loop, all done in white, of course. And then you're going to repeat this now. So 1 single crochet in 3 stitches, and then a mosaic double crochet down into the white. So it's going to look like this. So you're going to do this now all the way around. You should finish with 1 single crochet here at the very end in order to have those 3 continuous single crochet stitches next to each other. Then again, finish up with the red, which is just single crochet in the back loop only. You're going to repeat those sections, okay? So you're going to repeat from row 9 until row 12, you repeat this again and again until you are at row 17, which is the same as row 9. Okay, so you're going to repeat this over and over and over again. So I'm going to finish this round up right now, and then I'm going to show you what comes after. So I'm just going to jump ahead because you're just going to repeat a few rounds, okay? And then I'm going to show you the next 2 important rounds in order to finish up the entire project. So let me finish this round and I'll show you the next part. All right, I'm going to show you now what to do next, but let me show you first how your section should look like after you've done the repeats, okay? So this is how far you should be going. You can go a little further if you like, okay? So this is how far it is. It goes until here. So this is the same as row 9 over here, and that's kind of where you're finishing it up. You can go even, higher. As I said, this section right here, it doesn't matter too much. A little higher might even be better. I even say if you add a couple of extra, let's say 4 extra rounds to it, it's not going to hurt you. It actually may even benefit you. So this is how long mine is. So actually, let me measure it in a second. And then we're going to work on this round right here, which currently I don't have attached because it actually works well just hanging down like this. So if you feel like you want to attach it, like either glue it on, sew it on or something, that's fine. And then we're going to work on the inside right here. So this part is easy. So once I show you how to do this and this, you're just going to finish it, and I'll show you how it actually stands up like this perfectly and how it's so pretty looking. But let me measure here for a second. So this section right here, remember I do have something on the inside that gives it a hint of a stretch, but mine is roughly like underneath here, like measuring right underneath from the bottom here. It's almost 4 inches. Let's say it's 3.75 inches. Okay, that's how far it is. So you can go a hint further if you like. It's not going to hurt you. It's actually maybe even benefiting you. So we're now going to work on this round. So pretend I just did all of this on my little swatch right here, right? I pretend I just did this entire section. So I'm going to show you how to do this round right now, and then we'll talk about the inside. The part that I just mentioned, that little overhang, that is going to be done in the front loop only. Okay, so for that entire round, front loop only. Okay, what you're going to do is you're actually going to turn your work. So I'm pointing out the fact that it's the front loop only from this perspective. You are actually going to turn your work now, okay, and you're going to work on the other side. So this is only for that little extension part of it, but for the rest of it, you're going to work again from the other side. So what you're going to do is from this perspective, it's now going to be the back loop. Let me say it again. From this perspective, it's the front loop. If I turn it around, it is going to be the back loop. Do you see what I'm saying? It is all about the perspective. So whichever loop is in the back of your work when you're looking at it, okay? So you kind of want to look now where you're at. So I finished over here. So this is going to be my first stitch right here. So this one right here, which is the front loop in this direction, but it's going to be the back loop in this direction. Make sense? All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a single crochet stitch on the very first stitch. Then the next stitch is going to be the half double crochet stitch. And the following stitch is going to be a double crochet stitch. And now you're going to make a chain of 2. 1 and 2, and you're going to slip stitch to the very first chain that you made. You made your 2 chains, so you're going to slip stitch to the first. So this is like a picot stitch, okay, just a little shortened version. Usually it's a chain of 3. I'm doing here a chain of 2, right? Then in the next stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet stitch again. So that will be the following stitch. And now you're going to repeat this section. So this should be 4 stitches with that picot in between. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. So there should be 8 repeats. So let me do this again one more time here. So it will be single. They're all done in, from your perspective now, the back loop only, right? The outside loop. So single crochet. Then the next one is going to be half double. Then double crochet stitch. And then a chain of 2 with a slip stitch to the first chain made, and then a half double crochet stitch. And now you're going to repeat this literally all the way around, okay? So I'm going to finish mine, and then we'll go into the next section, which is the inside part of it, okay? So let's do that. All right, when you're done, it's going to look like this. So you're going to have this section it's going to bend down later. So right now I made like stand up. It's okay. It'll bend down later, and if it doesn't, you can always glue it or sew it on. It's up to you. By the way, you can cut your red if you want to over here. I'm leaving it hanging for now because I'm going to switch back to red later, okay? So we're now going to turn our project again, so that way we're working again from this perspective. So we're not working from this one anymore. We're working from this one. So we're now using that leftover loop, which now from this perspective, it's going to be the back loop again. You see that? From this one, it was the front loop. From this perspective, it's the back loop of that last round, right? We went only into the back loop only. So now we turn it around. So now the leftover loop is also the back loop. Is that making sense? Okay, so we're now going to work into that, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet per stitch, literally all the way around. And that's just only for this round that you are going to crochet into. From this perspective, it's the back loop only, okay? When you're done with this round, again, you're going to do your slip stitch. You can go in continuous rounds if you wanted to at some point, especially when you switch back to red, okay? So you're going to do an additional 1 round in white right here into both loops. So after this round, you're going into both loops only, okay? So you're going to do after this round 1 more time in white. So 1 round in white, just single crochet stitches. And then you're going to switch to red. And with red, you're going to do 10 rounds of just red, 1 single crochet per stitch, okay? So let me show you how that looks like. So this is how it looks like in the end. So let me pull this out. So this is how the project looks like, okay? So you have this, a little bit of an extension right here, right? And then you have those 2 rounds of white, and then you have the 10 rounds in red. So this is how it should look like. So now what I did is I added these little plastic, I haven't sewn this on yet because I want to show you how it looks like. So you have these little plastic canvas pieces. That's just going to help it make it a little bit sturdier, because if I would do this without it, okay, it may work, but here's the problem on it. It's going to look a little bit rounded, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's going to look a little rounded. You may be able to just adjust it with your hands, but sometimes it makes it look a little rounded, which is why I like to add some plastic canvas. You can add like paper, cardboard or something, but if it ever gets wet, then the paper may not be a good solution, if that makes sense. So if you have any plastic canvas, like small pieces laying around, you don't need much of that, then this is what I used. And the measurements of these are about just over 2 inches. So just literally just over, just a hint, right? And then this direction, it's just under 3.5. So it is, you know, just like 2 lines under 3.5 inches, just a hint under. Anyways, so I made 4 of those pieces, okay? And so all I did, and I actually recommend either gluing them on or sewing them on. You can just lay them in here if you want, and then sew this part, like this part of it, on at the bottom. So you literally put them onto the sides. Now, you know, line them up with these edges of here, of course. So I'm trying to do this from an angle here. So let's see if I can do it without it falling over. And so once you have your plastic canvas pieces in, so this is almost perfect right there, then you can just tuck in your red part. So hang on, let me adjust this here for a second. All right, and then you're just going to push this in like this. And then what you can do is you can use this leftover yarn right here on the bottom, and you're just going to sew it down. Now this might be a little bit hard to do, so you can just go push it through each time. So what you can do is, like, you know, the running stitch or something. So let me show you. So you're going to take a tapestry needle, and then you're just going to sew it back and forth, like through it. Okay, so I like to just go into the corners here, start in a corner, because that's where it happened to end. So if you look where your yarn end is, mine is right into that corner right there. So you're just going to push it through, and then you just go back and forth. So like this, pull it through, and go in and out. Just make sure you're catching your inside lining here, okay? So you can kind of feel it by going in and out, if you can feel it. I can feel it right here. and then you're just going to go through and you're going to sew it all the way around. Now again, that's not necessary. You can also just glue it directly on to the plastic canvas. So if you put the plastic canvas in and put a little bit of glue, like hot glue or something, onto it, and then you're just going to put a little bit of hot glue onto your crochet, then it's fine. Remember, you're not wearing this. It's okay to add a little bit of glue, okay? And then you're done with part 1. So this is part 1. So you learned a few different techniques here and a bunch of different tips. So you started out with learning how to do a square from the center out, so granny square using single crochet stitches. Then you learned how to do mosaic crochet stitches, then a little bit of an extension right here, which you can probably tell is ice, right? Obviously this is a chimney. And then you're going to literally just learn how to finish it up, like adding a lining to it. So there's a lot of tips and tricks throughout that you learned in this project. So finish yours up and I want to see a picture of it. So please take a picture of your part 1 and post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with the hashtag that you see here on the screen. Okay, so make sure you use that, because that way we can find you and celebrate you. And now you're done with part 1 and I am so excited. All right, I want to know from you, and this is your question that you need to answer down below, is what yarn did you use for part 1? What yarn types did you use? Obviously it is worsted yarn because that's what I told you to use, right? Worsted yarn, but what type of red and white yarn did you use? And did you make any adjustments to the pattern? I would love to know if there's anything you added to it, like if you added extra rounds to it or something. Just don't make it smaller. I recommend you can go bigger if you wanted to, just don't make it too big. Few extra rounds is fine if you want to, but this is mine, how mine looks like, and I'm really excited. So let me see yours, and don't forget to answer that question down below. What yarn did you use for the red and white, and did you make any adjustments to the pattern in order to make it work for you? And it includes the plastic canvas piece, right? Did you add that? Did you not add it? What did you add, right? Anything like that, let us know. We would love to know, because you can inspire others to do the same or make adjustments if they have any questions for themselves. Now you're going to get ready then for part 2, which happens in a couple of days. I am so excited. Oh my gosh, especially the party at the end. Don't forget to add that to your calendar. November 15th, 12 p.m. Pacific time is going to be the big party. I have a link here at the end, and you're going to see it there as well. It's definitely going to be in the pattern, so make sure you check that out and save it, so that way you can come and join us, okay? Now, I am so excited about this, so I'll see you back here in part 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a video or go live. I'll see you in part 2. Until then, bye-bye. Happy hooking!